Was it difficult to adapt to, in 1 year you have to learn everything? You are learning marketing, finance, HR. How difficult was it for you?
Marketing, a bit of sales, a bit of people management. The purpose of doing everything is, I think that's why people, get into an MBA.
So what do you think? How has life changed now?
It was like a one capsule swallowed so that the entire energy dissipation happens in one go in that 1 year. I remember myself running from one place to the other place like in every other day.
Hi everyone, welcome on board. This is Anisha here in conversation with three amazing people. We have Shreya, Isha, Guru, all alumni from SOIL Institute of Management from the 1 year PGP programs. And the best part is from different areas, different genres. Like we have Shreya, who's at Volvo currently, 2012 batch pass out. Isha is at Nestle, who's a 2018 batch pass out. Guru, he's here at McKinsey currently and from the 2017 batch. It's really amazing to see three different batches, three different, I could say, industries that all of you represent to come on board on this channel with us today. So thank you guys for making time for us today.
Hey, hi Anisha, thank you.
Hi everyone. Great. So, I've given just a brief introduction. Why don't you give us a little bit more idea about before doing this MBA, before this 1 year MBA program, what was your life like? Where are you from? Which companies or how much of work ex do you have? We could start with you, Isha.
Sure. Hi, my name is Isha. I belong to a small town called Sirsa. Before my MBA PGPM HR program, I was at IBM for about 3 years. That was actually a campus placement from my undergraduation college, which is Maharaja Surajmal Institute of Technology from IP. So my story is more engineer turned HR. And as much as I am seeing in the fraternity, that's like going ahead, and a number are increasing every time that I see HRs are more and more engineers, seeing that twist and turn. So the idea was to not just solve technology problems and coding problems, but to delve in the people side of things and solve people puzzles. That was basically the gear to move from, say, being an engineer at IBM to taking some time away and doing and pursuing my master's. So yeah, that was my gears before this. We can move to anybody. Shreya, Guru, over to you.
Lovely.
Thanks, Isha. I can go next. My story is somewhat similar to yours. I'm also an engineer turned HR. But probably my reason to join SOIL back then in 2011 was slightly different. So maybe I can get started from my roots. So I was born in Calcutta, brought up in Chennai, did majority of my schooling and education in Chennai. Then I did my bachelor's in computer science engineering. I wouldn't call myself a bad engineer. Back then, that is what I wanted to do. But 2 years with Infosys, it was a fabulous organization. Probably I learned more than what I learned in the 4 years of my engineering in terms of coding. But then I realized that that was not really my cup of tea. I mean, I would just go do my work and come back, but it didn't really give me any joy. And I realized quite early in my career that, I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing something that I didn't enjoy. So that's when I decided to explore the options in the market. Of course, I did give my CAT examinations, prepare hard, look for other institutions. And that's how I landed in SOIL. I kind of stumbled upon this quite, casually when I was doing a Google search. But one thing I was very sure back then was, I didn't want to repeat the same mistake that I did in terms of spending 4 years and then realizing that's not what I want. So I kind of started figuring out, okay, if I'm going to do MBA next, what is it that I want to specialize on? So and then I narrowed down on HR, considering my strengths and what would suit my profile. And then SOIL was sort of an obvious choice because the kind of faculty and the history where when I read more about Anil Sachdev sir and the history and the roots, I think I was pretty clear that it's a great place to learn from these stalwarts. So that's how SOIL actually happened in my life. So first I narrowed down on HR as a career, and then I started looking out for institutes. So of course there were a couple of other options too. I applied back then. So that's my journey from being an engineer to kind of landing in soil. Over to you, Guru.
Thank you, Isha and Shreya, for sharing those beautiful journeys. Yet another engineer on the panel, I would say. So, uh, I belong from Lucknow, and that's where my most of the education was till 12th. After that, for my BTech, I went to Rajasthan Technical University. So had a good flavor of Rajasthan. Then moved to Pune to work in Cognizant for 3 years. I was with Cognizant for 3 years. And I think it was at the end of 2 years when most of our batch that had, come together were either pursuing MS or MBA. And that's kind of the chatter, that's kind of the word that was going on in the group. That's when I started looking around. I did not take a break from my job to kind of just sit 1 year and prepare. I was doing it alongside doing my job. And about soil, I came to know through one of the alumni of, not sure, 2012 or 11 batch, I guess. And I knew someone who knew this person, so that's how we got in touch. And then I applied for it, read a lot about it, heard a lot from the previous batches, and heard all amazing things. So soil was also a motivation for me to come to North India. I was not liking Maharashtra that much. And that was another reason I wanted to be, and it being in a strategically nice place in Gurgaon, where we have most of the MNCs and corporates. So that was a driving factor. And then obviously when I was here for 1 year, that was an amazing experience. I mean, the curriculum, the teachers, the students, it's so different from a normal MBA because, as I said, my other batchmates from Cognizant were also in different B schools. We were doing trips in the mountains, learning design thinking, and then we were having yoga sessions as part of a curriculum, which was also nice and different. At the same time, we had enough exposure to the industry, people from different industries coming as hosts, lecturers. We are doing our thing as events. I mean, it was crazy. It was so much fun that
Lovely. I like it when you
not,
say that, we are doing so many things and that rigor. So what
yeah.
do you think, like, since all of you guys, you were working, you are engineers, so am I an engineer, and you shifted to, management. Was it difficult to adapt to, in 1 year, you have to learn everything. You are learning marketing, finance, HR. How difficult was it for you?
I mean, if anyone wants to take that up, else my take on this is so HR is a bit different, Anisha. HR is a path that you have to choose after like I think 3 months into the course. So
Okay.
because it's a 1 year course, it's broken down into 3 trimesters. Right? We don't have two
Okay.
semesters. So the first trimester is pretty much same, and then you get into your different specializations. So I was in marketing, but yes, finance is something that everyone should know as a basic. Um, Marketing, a bit of sales, a bit of people management. The purpose of doing everything is, I think that's why people, get into an MBA. Because to understand a business and not to just understand a project or the code that you're doing, you need to have a knowledge of finance. You need to be able to read the top line and bottom line. You need to be able to understand marketing, sales, how does an organization operates. And that's when, you get into an organization, you can add value as someone who's a graduate compared to someone who has an MBA. So it's a part and parcel of learning everything. I think it's difficult. Nothing comes to you easy, but it's nice how fun these colleges make it for you, the learning process. Yeah.
I sort of agree with Guru. Shreya, go ahead if you'd like to take a stab first.
No, please, Isha, after you.
Thanks. So I think I'll segue from where Guru is coming from. I really like the fact that we all went through something which was very, very power packed. It was like a one capsule swallowed so that the entire energy dissipation happens in one go in that 1 year. I remember myself running from one place to the other place, like in every other day. So there was an entrepreneurship club that was going on. We were making pitches like Shark Tank. At the same time, there was something called as Inspired Leadership Conference, which was us gathering sponsors, etc., to do an event at the same time. So it's everything that you learn, also getting a chance to apply it. I can never fall short of the time that I spent in Sidbadi. It was beautiful and amazing to understand that you can really learn from people there how everything was homegrown, and all the basics of management actually applied by the locals. So you get an exposure of various fronts, not just faculties, classrooms, your case studies. All of that was there. We were expected to deliver projects like all other B schools. But besides that, I think we also saw some faculty who was coming from Canada, somebody who was coming from Harvard, and taking some sessions. In fact, I lately got to know within Nestle that some faculty member who's a common faculty member between SOIL and TIS, and TIS getting to know about SOIL via them. The cross pollination of so many thought schools. And like in this panel also, I see so much diversity, right? So Shreya coming from one dimension of the country, I coming from another, and Guru coming from the third one, and we all culminating at SOIL. That was the beauty of that mix, the kind of diversity. And I think diversity as a lever also there, and one of the five values. So amazing 1 year time. And coming to the point that you mentioned, Anisha, being it difficult, I think difficulty was on the lower end of the spectrum, because we were really really enjoying our time there. So everything that we were doing was tiring us, but I think I would like to go back any other day.
Wow, that's so interesting. I mean, when you say that you would love to go back, it's actually like, yeah, you do miss and you do have that fun. But how is life after doing that? Like, now that we are done with from engineering, shifted to management, like Isha, you and Shreya are in the HR stream, and Guru, you are like working with McKinsey. These are all dream companies, dream roles, which even before pre-MBA, you may not have thought that this is where you're going to go in. So what do you think? How has life changed now?
I would say that it, of course, there's a lot of surprise element with each passing year. We had COVID a couple of years back. So, obviously, in terms of managing the challenges back in the workplace when COVID happened, it was quite a learning in itself. So, one is, I would say, soil also kind of prepared us for these kind of unprecedented challenges, not really directly by calling it out as challenges and saying that, these are exactly the things that you guys will anticipate once you move out of the college, but probably helping us prepare in different ways through the course curriculum itself, in terms of going back to your previous question as well, Anisha, where the curriculum itself was so diverse, right? Probably today we would focus on an organization behavior from an HR perspective. Tomorrow we would go and attend some theater workshops, and the next day we would be involved in some yoga classes. So because of the diverse aspects that we had, I would say it kind of also prepared us for the challenges ahead of us, because one, it kind of helped us go with a clean fresh state of mind, where we can kind of put on our thinking caps and foresee what is coming our way. But secondly, also in terms of the exposure that it gave, and the network that we built over the course of time, we could also lean on each other for the support that we had. And even today, if there's something at work, I think the first set of people I would go back and discuss is my classmates from my batchmates from my HR program, because I think I have, we kind of exchange thoughts and ideas. So that's what is my key takeaway from soil. Beyond the 1 year that we spent, I think it's more the connections that we established in the longer run. What are your thoughts, Isha and Guru?
No, I think yes, very similar to what you said. I mean, connections and networks is a very important part of not only when you're in the college, also when you're in your office, right? And which reminds me that on 25th, I am meeting my soil group.
Wow.
We just planned that today. It's funny how all of us now have kids and wife when we meet compared to the college days. But it's a hell of a time when all of us are together. We will definitely talk about A&B, sir. Right? We'll definitely talk about Sidbadi because that was one place where 24/7 we were together, right? Otherwise, there are a lot of people who would, the locals, would go back to their homes. How we bonded. The stories are pretty much same every time we meet, but the laugh, just keeps on increasing with time. So yes, the learning becomes easy when you have an amazing peer group to learn with, right? When you're doing group projects, when you're working day and night, it's easy. You can divide and conquer things. You trust the people around you because it's a good bunch of people that you're working with, right? Good minds, all in the right direction. So that's, I think that's how we come through the challenges of MBA school, Anisha.
Lovely. So if I were to ask you, like, what's the one favorite memory that you have from back in your campus days? I mean, I know it's 10 plus years back for some of us, but what would be that one favorite or the best memory from college?
I think I really remember my convocation. It was a little different from our traditional, the way we see convocations, how they happen in the black robe, etc. So we were dressed in ethnic, and all of us went to a spiritual place to actually understand and see how the convocation, graduating from SOIL, was a very different experience as compared to other colleges. I remember while we were partying, all of us had some bit of emotions and a heavy heart that we are all going to now. And it just felt like we suddenly became adults, although we already were adults. But when we were going to the corporate life, although we all had seen our colleges before, right, our undergrads, but from the post graduation programs to again going back to the corporate, I think that milestone was very, very important for me. So I remember my convocation a lot.
Lovely.
That's nice. I'm going to be a little bit naughty here. I was probably known for, I mean, I don't want to, sugarcoat it and say that, I was all this goody girl back in college. So one of my fondest memory was we actually had taken an apartment just opposite to the college. And I had shared the room with two of my roommates who are also very good friends with me now. So my favorite memory was like these two girls were super studious. They used to go to college on time and get ready and go fast, be there on time. And I used to, like, after they're all gone, wake up and get ready and go, and I would probably miss the first 15-20 minutes. And when the professor probably asked me, why are you late for the class, I would say I got caught up in traffic, and the whole class would kind of burst out laughing because they knew that we were just put opposite, of course. So that's probably the fondest memory that I recall, which is very special. It takes me back to my college days, which I don't think I can do right now in the corporate workspace. But that's my favorite memory.
But I think
Nice.
they learned from your batch, Shreya. They put some fingerprint impression things as an attendance. So if you don't put your fingerprint before 8:30, there was some, I don't clearly remember. Maybe Isha can help me on that.
I
But we
think,
had to,
yes, there was some biometric that was installed.
yeah. And like at 8:29, 8:28, there was a crowd of people.
Oh my God,
Sometimes
yes.
even some professors.
Correct.
Uh, but maybe you guys made them do it. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Everybody was running so late to morning circle. We had to be, so at Soil we had this tradition called morning circle, where
Okay.
all of us would gather in the morning, and we would share tidbits of personal sharing or something that's happening at college. Sometimes somebody would sing, and we would do a prayer. So it really brings you back to school. It was literally back to school because you have to stand in an assembly and really look forward to how the day is going to look like. And we prayed. That was the first time that I learned so many different other prayers, some Telugu, Tamil, Punjabi, all those different prayers during the morning circle, knowing that I'm understanding so many cultures at the same place. So I think all of those were also very very sweet tidbits that were added. Later on, they become part of so many of our lives and so many of our engagement activities, etc. when we went back to work. So yeah, that was one nuance.
My favorite, I think I've already mentioned 2 times, was the Sidbadi trip that we did. We were all put in a train and taken to Sidbadi, then in a bus. We were awake all night in the train, no one slept. And then the days over there, oh my God, we had so much fun. Definitely, definitely the most cherished time that I had at college.
I think we should all plan to go to Sidbari. They should do a alumni Sidbari sometime.
Oh, that's a nice idea, yes.
Hope you will not edit that part, Anisha.
What?
Yes.
That
Sorry.
broadcast. Good
Yeah, I
idea.
think we just went with the flow.
But Isha, I think you're great with the Zoom emojis. You have one great moment.
Yes, definitely. I would say that. Definitely, I would say that way. But tell me, how is, like, you are currently working at McKinsey. So, Guru, how is it different from, past pre-MBA days and the current life right now? Is it hectic? Is it, or what is it like?
Okay, so uh, McKinsey is hectic. I will put it very straightforward. It has its perks. The company really takes care of you as an employee, but then you have to really put in your heart and soul. So, and I think it's true for maybe all the organizations. I haven't switched much. I'm with McKinsey for the past 5 years now. So, what is different? So, just after MBA, I joined Othbridge for again 3 years. I was with them, which was a bit of a startup like an organization. Although it was already 13, 14 years old when I joined it. But then coming from there to a McKinsey was a huge change for me. I mean, if you need to get anything done, there's a huge process, there's change management, there's Six Sigma, lean, and whatnot. It takes you some time to get to the hang of such big organizations, which do not move as quickly as a smaller setup. But then you start liking it, I think, as in when you grow in these organizations and you as you grow the levels, you understand why things are the way they are, how it is. And after MBA, I think the job is totally different. I mean, from my perspective, what I was doing before MBA was very specific, I had a very tunnel view, if I can say that. But after that, when you are in discussions, when you're talking to clients, when you're talking to seniors, it becomes easier to understand things. And I think a lot of credit goes to MBA colleges and the structure of doing case studies, which is not in BTech, right? You don't learn through case studies. But in MBA, you learn a lot through case studies. And again, it's not that if I'm doing marketing, I'm only doing marketing case studies. I'll have for different organizations, different sectors, verticals, industries, so that my base broadens. I think that's what these colleges do. And again, when I'm at McKinsey, I'm working with different clients, retailers, pharmacists, healthcare, government organizations. And then, when you talk to them, you learn a great habit of listening more, and talking less. And when people talk, you kind of understand, right? Things are not just bouncing over your head because you've read about it somewhere. You have an idea, okay, what this might be like, what it actually is. So, I mean, that's very different from, post MBA and after MBA.
So, Shreya, how has it been? Like, it's been 12 years since you graduated and now you are in this industry. So, how do you think it has changed in the last whole decade?
It has definitely changed for the good. Now with all this AI and a lot of automation also coming in, there is also a different perspective that's coming in the way that we work, right? So when we started, I mean, HR was probably traditionally known as a typical, I mean, traditional HR function where we had it was slightly administrative. But as we moved over the years, it became more and more strategic. We did find ourselves seat on the table. We could have those meaningful conversations with the business, and they did also see the value add that the HR professionals could bring. So at least the last 10 years, I do see a fundamental shift in the way that is being looked at in an organization. We are no more looked at just as a support function. We are also looked at as a business enabler. And I would say, from a personal perspective, I think soil has also played a good role for me in terms of making me the HR professional that I am today. When I started off my career right after completing my HR from soil, I went on to do work with a company called Polaris, and there my role was supporting a team called the People and Culture team. And now, when I look back after 10 years, I think I have also evolved as a person in terms of taking up multiple roles. It's been a holistic experience overall, Anisha. I'm really happy with the way that things are moving, but I'm also doubly cautious with the way that the technology is also equally moving, right? So I think it's also important for us as HR professionals to scale up and start thinking forward as to how we can add value to the business. I think we have to kind of pull up our socks, and there's a lot of, we still have to kind of continue the learning that we are currently doing. So there's still a long way to go, is what I feel.
Lovely. How about you, Isha? Any advice based on your experience for the young folks who are probably now thinking to do a 1 year or a 2 year MBA? What should be done?
So I'll build on to what Guru and Shreya have said. I think it's important to be courageous and be bold while making this move, because it's very easy to get in the comfort zone. I was also reflecting as the end of the year is coming closer, that how can I really buckle up my shoes and not let myself get into the comfort space of not really learning. So the idea is to always keeping your edge sharpened and not being one in the crowd. It's harder than what it is said or it looks like, because now with the advent of technology and the pace that tech is picking up, even we as HR professionals, which was looked at like a non-tech function, is very, very, very engaged into technology. And technology not just from the employee front, but from eliminating the non-value add activities. How can we really replace the operations into strategic? What percentage of operations are still going to stay, or what percentage of operations are going to become redundant, etc. So all of that is very, very important, keeping the current context in mind. India is also leading a forefront in terms of, say, digital payments. We are way ahead of a lot of other countries. So a lot is going on in that space. I coming from the currently in the FMCG space, I've also seen some work in the e-commerce segment, which are seem to be like the balance of demand and supply. But how much tech is actually deepening into all of these industries? So what Guru mentioned, that the case studies, which format, which basically Soil took us, I still go back and keep reading sometimes what's happening in what industry. And we have Shreya from say the automobile segment, which is also undergoing a whole new shift with the EVs coming in, etc. So this entire industry context and context of our country also will be very, very critical in making those decisions. While people are going to pursue MBAs in the traditional lines, like HR, marketing, finance, all of those, I see people doing MBA in crypto and now in securities and masters in different forums. So management of those sort of upcoming tech, what is going to be the reality there? That's something very interesting which is coming up. So it's not just important to look at what you are going to be, because like Guru mentioned, it's going to be a horizontal wave. It's not going to be that you are just working on what you learned in college. That's just one sliver of the overall moon that you have to probably pursue. And the more information, the deeper and the broader information that you have will bring you to the table and probably take you in the long run. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents.
Okay, lovely. I think that's been a very nice, interesting conversation. I would say thank you so much, guys, for making time out of your hectic schedules for us. And for all students who've been listening to us, if you guys have any more questions, anything that you would love to hear more from the alumni or us, please drop in the comment section and we will take that up for all of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks. And I love Isha sending us so many hearts all through the session. And it was amazing to have you guys on board.
Lovely chatting with
Uh, Thank you all. I think it was a wonderful opportunity for us as well.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye,
I'm
folks.
definitely gonna connect with both the HRs.
I know.
It's
Me
already been
too.
5 years in
Bye.
McKinsey.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Great
Isha.
meeting you. Happy holidays, guys. Have fun. Bye.
Bye.